anybody else done that? Saved it to a computer and then it's corrupted and all that nonsense. Okay, cool. Right. So I'm just going to move that down. Thank you so much for coming. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so excited to talk to you all today. I've done a PowerPoint presentation. This is how serious I'm taking this. Yeah, those of you who know me know I never do them because I'm like, who does PowerPoint presentations in 2023? But I've done one, so I'm really proud of myself. So I'm going to start that in a second. Before I do, I just want to check in that you're all in the right place, that you know you are here to talk about brain fog today, and that nobody thinks they're due a one-to-one with their boss or they've got a client meeting or anything like that. Okay, cool. Right, let me share my screen. I want to keep this to 45 minutes at the very most, okay? So I'm going to try and go as quick as I can today so we're not all here for hours on end. Okay, can you just give me a nod if you can see this and you can still see me? Yeah, okay, cool. Right, hi, welcome everybody. Welcome to How to Beat Brain Fog, because you don't need to feel like you've gone crazy anymore. I know a shitload about this stuff. I know a shitload. But let's just check. You're in the right place. If you keep forgetting words for things, if you can't keep track of planning, dates, times, you agree to stuff and then forget to write it down. Or my personal favourite, write it down on the wrong date. I actually turned up for a doctor's appointment a month early. I was like, well, at least it wasn't a month late. Maybe you can't string a sentence together sometimes. Somebody actually wrote this on my survey that they felt like an overnight thicko, like they'd just woken up and they used to be really smart and now they're stupid. Oh, and it just like really broke my heart. So can you just let me know in the box which one of those is you, just so I know what's going on for you, because I know it shows up really differently for everybody. They're mostly all mine. I'm 1 to 5 and the rest. So I can know. Number 1, can't remember the words for things. Yeah. 1, 4, and 5. Yeah, stringing a sentence together is tough. Keep going to write something down so I don't forget. And by forget, by the time, yeah, Sarah, that I know it sounds so hilarious, but it's so not funny. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yeah. My mum kept saying, oh, just get yourself a new book. And I was like, I have 150 books. I don't know which book it's in. So that's also one of mine. So thank you for sharing that. A pot of tea with just water. Yes. Somebody told me that they'd gone to make dinner but didn't turn the oven on. Yep. Forgetting names. Forgotten I'd signed up for stuff. Yeah, I've had a couple of emails of people saying, oh God, what's this? So good, you're in the right place. Okay, so you're also in the right place because everybody else feels like this. And let me see if my Vicar will work. Yeah, has anybody else done this? Has anybody else been a prolific Googler? And then I was stuck in the loop of advice, which is, just eat better. Lift some weights, go strength training, and just reduce your stress. Maybe you've also been told you just need to get some more sleep. Great, can't sleep, thanks. Maybe you don't want to resign yourself to a life of feeling like a crazy old lady and are slightly repulsed by this midlife woman narrative. I've been banging on about that. And you want to learn how to beat brain fog yourself. So has anybody else done the Googling? Anybody else been Googling and got anything different to those 3 or 4 things that I've just mentioned? Anybody else had any? I was going to mention vitamins, supplements. Yes. You say mushrooms, wowzer. Okay. I've not seen that yet. Okay. Takes all sorts, I guess. I'm also being really bombarded at the minute with I think it's tea, like vitamin adverts for menopause tea. Great. Keep forgetting to boil the kettle. So, all right. So, okay. So next 30 to 45 minutes, I'm going to explain why this is all in your head. I am tentatively going to stick a toe into why did nobody tell me about this, because it's far too big a conversation for today. I'm going I didn't think it was magic mushrooms, Lisa. Although, I mean, sometimes you're up for anything, right? What else can I try? I'm also going to talk about the big guy, which is how do we deal with it? So I'm going to teach you some strategies and tools to beat this brain fog. I'm also half considering changing the term brain fog, because if it was a man with brain fog, they wouldn't call it brain fog, would they? They'd call it something like cognitive deselection or something. So anyway, I'm going to give you as much as I can in the next 45 minutes. I'm recording it, so if you need to go back and watch it again, do that. Just give me some attention. Put some skepticism aside. What the main thing I really want to ask you is just give yourself the gift of presence really today. Alexa does chime in, so if she's listening to you, like, feel free to unplug her. And at the end of this, I am going to talk to you about how you can do a little bit more with me. I'll do that at the end so we can get most of it done. Okay, code. Here we go. Introduction. This is me. This was last week, everybody, in Spain. This is my daughter, Imogen, who had a stomach bug for most of the week. My stepson, Kevin the teenager, and my husband, John. And I just thought I'd do a little bit of who I am so you know that I am absolutely the expert in this stuff. Almost 8 years ago this week, I think it's Bank Holiday August, John and I were sat in the fertility doctor's office where they said that I was infertile. The actual term they said was premature ovarian failure, which essentially is no eggs at age 36. And then he kind of wrapped it up with which means you're in the menopause. And at the time, as you can probably imagine, I fell to pieces and could not comprehend the menopause bit. So I just ignored it. I just kind of put that to one side. He asked me about certain symptoms. Hi, Francis. I'm just going to put you on mute, sweetie pie. He asked me about symptoms and he said, do you have any night sweats? And I was like, yeah, doesn't everybody? Like, I just thought it was really normal that everybody was waking up soaking wet. Turns out not. He also asked me if my periods were light or weird. And I was like, yeah, aren't everybody's like maybe 1 or 2 days a week? Probably like every 3 weeks. And he was like, no, this is the menopause. I was like, oh, shit. Okay. Very, very long story. My daughter was born through an egg donor. So I don't have any eggs, but a very kind lady donated hers to me. We don't know who she is. She's anonymous. But since then, I have been experiencing menopause symptoms and I just did not want to know about it. I just kept going to the doctor saying, I just don't feel right. I feel like I can't remember stuff and my boobs hurt. I never talked about that, but it was like they were in a vice and on fire at the same time. And they kept saying, oh, well, your hormones are really low, so maybe HRT. And I was like, no, that's for old crazy ladies. What else is there? And the alternative is the pill. Well, if I'm infertile, what's the point of that? So I just didn't do anything until a couple of years ago when it kind of came to a big head. And I was like, okay, really, either I'm dying or I have to start HRT, which has helped. I mean, it's taken 2 years for me to get the right dose because I've been estrogen, like with no estrogen for such a long time. But anyway, I'm finally through it. And I'm about 3 months with no bleed now. So I think I'm definitely coming through the other side. So I know a fucking lot about this stuff. And I want to talk to you about it. And the brain fog thing for me, I've written down on here the stuff that really happened. I broke an oven dish last summer. John did, not me. And it took me a week to remember what it was called so I could buy a new one. I was going, the thing, doing that. I was just doing that at him. And he was like, what is happening? I had to email clients and say, I think I was going to send you something, but I don't know what it is. Was it you? Actually, I have lots of clients in a similar state. So they were like, don't know, could have been me, might not. I don't know what you're talking about either. Organizing social events just didn't happen. I didn't know what was happening, when it was, who it was with. And like we just talked about, as soon as we had the conversation, I forget to write it down. So that was the end of that. One kind of amusing thing for me was I would mix up words. So I think it's called spoonerism, where you actually blend 2 words together. So around October, I was calling my daughter Pumpkin and Darling, and at the same time, I just called her Duncan. which we both laughed at for quite a long time because it was really funny, but also not funny. I inadvertently offended somebody. A friend, she's a colleague, I guess, like she does similar to work to me. And I was talking to her about work, and she sent me a voice note later saying how awkward she was because she didn't really want to buy my stuff. And now she felt really weird. And I was like, what is she talking about? Didn't mean that to happen. Just came out wrong. And waking up to WhatsApp messages on groups, people saying, oh my God, happy birthday. I was like, shit, whose birthday is it? How old? Specifically, it was my niece. Happy birthday. I was like, fuck, how old is she? When did this happen? So if you think you're going crazy, you're not. It's your hormones. Feeling like an overnight thicko, you're not. You know this, it's your hormones. But anyway, I did a little bit of researching into the actual science of what's going on. I don't know if you've done this, but this whole page makes my eyes hurt. So the gist is estrogen and testosterone are really important in cognition and memory. And when estrogen levels fall, which is what's happening in perimenopause, everything just kind of stops working very well. So if you don't have enough estrogen, your brain cannot remember stuff, is essentially it. And what normally happens with perimenopause is your hormones kind of decline like this. So it's kind of gradual. So you might not really notice for a while. For me, it did this. So I literally like dropped and, the world fell apart. I just really want to clarify, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical professional. This is just what I know, having been doing this for such a long time. So it is all in your brain. Your brain is the bit that is causing all of this stuff. You're not having a hot flush because you're hot. It's because the signal from your brain to the temperature regulation is not working well. Okay. It's your anxiety or any kind of depressive feelings that you might be experiencing is because your brain is not working well. Okay. It says here estrogen pushes your brain to burn more glucose, which is its fuel, and there is a significant reduction in brain energy levels during the menopause, which causes all this shit to happen. And there is endless amounts of shit. So why did nobody tell us? Why did nobody tell us? And I don't actually know the answer, other than I think there are a few things, and you may have a different idea, but the first one is I don't think anybody really just ever did. My mum actually went into menopause through breast cancer treatment. So she was really early, and then that was the end of that. She never had any HRT, never talked about it. She'd say things like, I don't think I really struggled. And actually, I know that she was really quite depressed for a long time. And she used to make dinner and then go and stand outside because she was boiling. So she obviously had hot flushes. So I just don't think there was a lot of conversation around it, maybe. So we're this first generation of going, wait a minute, we now know this is now being talked about. And we're really cross that no one's told us. Davina McCall, she's done a lot of work around this, right? Which is great. I can't also go into this today because I'll be here for hours, but there's not an awful lot of research into women's health. There's just not. This is the reason why testosterone is not licensed for women in the UK, because they've just not done the research. They're just not bothering to put any money into it. I don't think it's important. Which leads me into the next one, which is, that's a cool thing. I think patriarchy just kind of prefers the narrative of you're just crazy old lady. And I don't think that's okay. I am like a one woman banging a drum saying this, I'm not a crazy old lady. I'm actually only 44. And I don't really want to do that anymore. I'm telling you now, this is what it is. And I really invite you after today to tell all your mates, even if they don't want to hear it, even if they're only in their early 40s, late 30s, tell them anyway, because there'll be somebody who's there going, fuck, I think I'm just stupid. Or I don't know why I'm so crap at my job. I don't know why I can't get on top of this. Or why people are really cross with me that I've forgotten that it's this weekend, not next weekend. Do you know? They're little things that when they add up. Okay, so what I'm going to talk about today is not mentioned anywhere. I have Googled everything. Just little quick survey. Who has Googled menopause support or menopause relief? Pop it in the box. Who's asked for help at the GP? Yeah, Lisa, you're on it with your mushrooms. Yeah. Who's done this before? Yep. Yep. Okay. And who has got this? Oh, where's it gone? Eat better. Strength training. Better sleep. This one has also come up. Given some mindfulness. Yes, 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 and yes. Okay. Great. And do you know what? I'm not knocking anybody who offers this advice because it's brilliant, brilliant advice if you can do it. Trying all these things for the past year, yeah. If you can actually access some of this support, if you have met somebody who is a menopause nutritionist, for example, and they're like, this is the way to eat, which will really help. And you can do that, amazing. If you've met somebody who specializes in strength training for menopausal old bones, amazing, go do that, right? However, I don't know if this feels anyway resonant to you. I couldn't actually eat any better. I couldn't change my whole diet because of these things. Meal planning for me, or meal prep, or whatever you want to call it, was I have to think about all the food that everybody will eat. I then have to write all that down. I then have to go to the shop and not forget the list. So we used to keep a list on the fridge door, and I'd go to the shop and not take the list or not take a picture of it. I would then have to buy it all in the shop and not forget the things, and then cook it before it goes off. It's 5 things. That is 5 actions. There's probably a couple of steps in there that you would even include as well. Eat it. It's too much. When your brain is not functioning, five separate things to feel better was just too much, okay? For me. And I couldn't exercise better because I was too fucking tired. I didn't have a sports bra that fit, and I couldn't remember to get to class. I would book classes. Oh my God, I would book classes. There's an amazing dance class up the road. I think I've been once in about a year because I couldn't remember that it was on at 8 o'clock. I thought it was 7. But then I was like, well, that's kind of bedtime. So how do you do that? Signed and paid for a meal planning course. Francis is the same. Right. And really, the bottom one is I just wanted to kill into a ball and hide, really, is kind of what was going on. Still haven't mastered it. Right. Yeah. No shame here. Okay. So, oh, good. I'm going really fast. Excellent. So this is what I did. And this is not going to be a surprise to lots of you. Some of you who are new to me today, I'm going to talk about this a little bit more. But the way I got through this is the way I got through my infertility stuff is EFT. It's called tapping. You tap on your body and you let yourself soothe yourself, okay? I cannot replace estrogen. HRT can, and definitely if you're up for that, I recommend going down some sort of route for that. But this is the main one, is I started to treat myself like somebody I loved because I felt so awful and not being able to talk properly, not remembering stuff, like how many school emails? Billions. And remembering it all, oh fuck, like the worst mum in the world. And I had to give myself a really good talking to and say, this is not okay. And I know how to do this. I know how to do this. I have been working with women for the past 4 years on treating themselves like someone they love. Soothing yourself. And this was one of the big bits, which was healing the broken bits. EFT works on sending safety signals to every part of your body so that you feel in control. And I felt so out of control with the menopause because it kept whacking me around the face with new things. I'm also just getting hot flushes now, you know. But the biggest thing that was really sad was I was really sad about it all, you know, and I was quite, I feel robbed. I feel a little bit robbed that this is happening and that it wasn't happening to anybody else. So I've done a lot of work on this is what is happening and that's okay. Okay. And it releases the shame and the embarrassment that comes from not knowing what the fuck is happening, having to email people and say, I don't really know what I was supposed to do. Can you remind me? I'm going to talk to you about one of my clients in a minute who this happened to. Tapping also improves your memory. And I'm going to talk to you about some of the stuff that's come out about that. And it helps me laugh at myself to find the fact that my words are upside down actually kind of amusing. And I've worked really hard on it being funny with this bit. You're allowed to correct me as long as it's gentle and it's not with contempt. If I'm stood there going, pass me the thing, what's the thingy, what is the thingy, pointing at stuff, like gesticulating like a toddler learning baby sign, right? You're allowed to correct me as long as you don't do it with a what the fuck face. I will not tolerate a what the fuck face. What I expect, and I do this with my families, I expect you to say, I'm wondering what it is that you're looking at. I'm just gonna help find it for you. Okay. The children know this. My daughter is very, very hot on corrections. Mummy, it's a fork, not a knife. So I've had to say, you can correct me, but please be kind. And I'm going to be really honest here. My confidence was completely shot with all this stuff. And I was trying to put a good, brave face on, but really allowing myself to go, do you know what? I feel like I've lost it a little bit. And I'm allowed to get that back. Tapping has been the key to all of this. And a really big one is advocating for myself at the doctors, with family, and at work. And what that looks like and what I want to give you today, even if we don't go any further than this today and you've just had enough from today, is to advocate for yourself at the doctors, with your family, and at work. And that advocation looks like, is advocation a word? Advocacy, you know what I mean, right? At the doctors, not being fobbed off with it's just normal. Not being fobbed off with the pill. That has happened to more people than I can tell you. Too young for HRT, let's go on the pill. Nobody needs that. We're in our 40s, not teenagers, don't need the pill. If that's your thing, okay? It also looks like asking for blood tests, even if they say they don't do them. It means asking for what you want. So going in saying, antidepressants, right? Yeah, not being fobbed off with antidepressants. I actually have a client, we've just finished, she's in her 60s, and she was in a whole world of mess. And I said, you need some medication. I'm not sure what it is, but you need to speak to the doctor. She couldn't even get to the doctor. So finally we worked and we tapped through it. This is asking for help is okay. And I said, I wonder when all your stuff happened for you. How long has it been like this? And she said, oh, probably since I was like in my mid-40s. I was like, oh my God, I wonder if HRT would help. I'm not a doctor, but bloody hell, go and ask the questions, okay? So advocating for yourself in a medical space is really, really good, so that you can, if you get HRT and it's not doing anything, ask them. I was given a bottle of gel and told to take one pump, which for me was like putting, lip balm on, nothing. And then they're like, well, how much more can I take? And they were like, well, why keep asking us? Like, just do what you want. I'm like, what do you mean do what I want? I don't know what's wrong. Eventually, I will go up to 4. Take a couple of weeks off work, get some naps. Yeah. I mean, I do recommend the naps, but like, come on. My sister went and asked for testosterone. And they said, why do you want it? And she said, I have no sex drive. And they said, well, have you tried tantric sex? So this is a woman that suggested it. Anyway, to know what is going on and to ask for it is absolutely essential. And again, with your family. So you're not having to explain yourself to people who don't know what's going on. So they're not going to be like, can you just get on with it? You're like, I don't know, and I'm never going to know. So can you just back off a bit? This is the way it is. I'm just going to need reminders. And at work. And I have lots of conversations with people who say there's no chance of speaking to work because it's weird and nobody wants to talk about that sort of stuff at work. But if you can have a really clear plan on what will help rather than I need some help, then going in asking what you want. And that doesn't just mean sitting near a window if you get hot, which is what I've seen as a suggestion. If you have hot flushes, sit near a window. Maybe it's being allowed to have notes with you at all time in meetings. Whatever you need is what you need, okay? How does that feel? What does it feel like to think that using this will help with this stuff? So what I'm not saying today is that this is going to suddenly produce your words, but what it is going to do is it going to make you feel a fuckload better when you can't find them, okay? My brain fog is still here. I went to a doctor's appointment. Again, I told you on the wrong day. I arranged something and turned up a few days early. It still happens. But the great thing is I kind of don't give a shit anymore because I've worked really hard to fucking love myself anyway. And if you can get to that point, it doesn't really matter what else is going on. So tapping, it slows down your stress response. When you can't think of the word, it just takes the pressure off it. If you can't remember, rather than getting all flustered and distressed, just like, don't know what the word is. That's it, the end. There's almost a full stop on it. It allows you to get support into place, which is clearing the stress out of asking for help or support. And it really strengthens you from the inside out so that your brain fog is just something that happens. It is not you. And that's a really clear distinction. So if this is you and brain fog is here, so you feel like you are nothing but the brain fog, what tapping does is it takes it to the side. It's just something that turns up and we can let go. You are you. We can find you again once we've cleared this and we get to move it. Okay? Thought of talking to your male boss. Yeah. No. Who wants to talk to an old man about it? Not me. Okay. So from the big guns, this is Dr. Peter Stapleton. This is just a screenshot of her Instagram. She's got a new book out actually, it's about memory, which I think is perfectly timed. And she's talking about a few different ways to improve your memory using tapping. So if you can't concentrate on stuff, who else is here sat there going, oh my God, I can't even get started. It helps massively with procrastination, which is obviously not just procrastination of a whole host of stuff, but allowing you to, even though I don't want to do it, even though I can't do it, I'm still going to love myself anyway. Okay? Repetition, so repeating numbers or remembering somebody's name. You can ask children to tap. My daughter will or will not tap, depending on what she wants. Okay. Tapping when you're trying to remember something is really important. Like if you put something down and you can't find it, or you walk into the room with anybody else doing this, where you walk in the room and you're like, nope, don't know why I'm here. Tapping will just help calm it down and clear it up, okay? Okay, so what does that mean? I just want you to think about Christmas. What life will be like when you've got the really strong support, which starts with you, with all the meds you need and all the blood tests that you want and all the medical support that you're after. That's what you're doing without feeling like you're fighting. Okay, when you feel like, no, this is, I'm just completely certain that this is what's going to happen. Okay, with a total love for yourself, regardless of whether you're saying stuff or you're not saying stuff. Stronger relationships with your partner. Tapping allows you to communicate really clearly. And I have communication strategies which help as well. So there's like frameworks for this stuff. So it's not just like, how do I make it better? This is how we do it. and waking up with a clear head. How does that sound? Because I tell you, this is the game changer for me. Being able to wake up and go, all right, instead of immediately in the, oh my God, oh, waking up feeling like you're carrying the weight. Okay. I want to talk to you about Claire. Very quickly, let me just take a drink. Claire actually trained with me. She trained with me to be a practitioner. She uses it in her work. And as part of it, we just did some one-to-one. And she's really, really open. And she said, I am absolutely convinced that brain fog is contributing to my stress rather than stress creating it, which is what she'd kind of heard through the GPs, you just need to stop being so stressed. She'd identified that losing her words were causing huge worries. And she admitted she'd actually lost a client because she'd forgotten to send something over. And obviously that's like big, right? So with the work we did together, we just worked on it just being part of it. And it wasn't her. I really want to drum this in. This is not you. It's not you. Even though I know sometimes it feels like you've lost yourself somewhere, okay? It's just something that happens. And we worked on loosening and releasing the embarrassment and the shame of, oh my God, it really affected my job. The release from that, it's just magical to watch her be like, oh fuck, I don't have to carry on worrying about it. I can move through that now. Alrighty, how are we feeling? What does it feel like to know we can get rid of this stuff? We can beat it. I'm curious to know what you're thinking about this. Because I have not found hardly anybody talking about this. When I've Googled alternative support for menopause, what has come up is CBT. And it's kind of like an extra added bit on the NH website. All the med stuff. And also, if you feel a bit shit, do some CBT, which is cognitive behavior therapy. And I don't know if you've ever done anything like that. It's really helpful to a point, but it doesn't necessarily loosen the physical side of it as well. Yeah, Tamsin, we're going to do a little bit in a minute, okay? Really quick and dirty one. CBT, when you tap, it's a physical activity as well as a emotional one. So we're not just talking about how you're feeling. We're actually going to talk about the subconscious stuff, the physical stuff that you hold in your body. So if you have this brain fog, for me, it turns up like it doesn't ever feel like a fog. It just feels like a blank. Like there's just I've walked in and there's this big empty room and I'm like, what the fuck is happening here? So we work on the physical feeling of that. So it's not just about, I feel really sad that I can't talk today. And what should we do? It's about, okay, I feel a physical sensation with this. This brain fog for me feels like a cloud or like I'm covered in a cloak or something like that. And then when you tap, that loosens. So tapping works on recreating new neural pathways. One thing I also need to tell you that I found out this week is it can affect your vocal cords for menopause. If you felt ever so slightly croaky, it's because you have no estrogen lubricating your vocal cords. And it can kick off asthma. Anybody else ever had asthma? I've had 3 attacks in a year. It's probably the menopause, said the doctor. Great. So it's just another thing to think about. So shall we just do a little bit for a minute? Let's just do what time? We've got 5 minutes. Okay. Let's just stop the share for a second so I can see. Okay, right. So those of you who've not done it before, we tap on the side bit of our hand here, okay? And it's like 3 or 4 fingers on the side bit of your hand. I'm just going to do it dead quick and dirty, okay? And I want you to take a big, deep breath in. Let it out. Okay, another big, deep breath in. And let it out. Oh, okay. And then we tap here on our eyebrows. And we're just going to send ourselves some love today. So close your eyes. Sending myself some love. side of your eye, on the bony bit if you're new. Just sending myself some love under the eye. This is just something that's happening to me. Breath in. Under the nose, let it out. This is not me. Under the lip. It's just something that's happening to me. Okay, collarbones. This is just something that happens to me. Under your arm. Oh, and I'm allowed to relax a little bit today. Top of the head. And I get to be in charge of this. That was then and this is now. Okay, take a big breath up, stretch up. Okay. So fast and dirty that. Hi, friends. It's nice to see your face. Okay. I cannot stress to you how much I think tapping changes everything. It changed when I had my infertility diagnosis. I was properly in a pit for a really long time until I found tapping. And then it was the only thing. It woke me up out of the pit. We're back, we're out. Okay, life can happen. Okay. With the menopause, absolutely, there may be some meds needed here. There might be some HRT or alternatives if you can't take that you can find through your favorite person online. Okay. But to deal with it and to keep you held and supported as we go through it, because it will change and your hormones you will get different symptoms, which will kick you in the tits. Okay. And the more we can equip ourselves through it, fucking hell, the more supported you feel, the more you can advocate for yourself, the more you can love yourself. So I would like to take a minute to talk to you about my menopause support program. And I know it's not going to be for everyone, but I'm going to tell you about it anyway. And if it's not for you, it might be for somebody else that suits you. Okay, let me go back to this. Let me find the right thing. This is where my PowerPoint presentation skills are strong. Okay, right. Okay, so my anti-midlife woman campaign, my program is called Held, because menopause is inevitable and suffering does not have to be. Okay, because I am fucking obsessed with helping people like you, like me, live through the menopause, boosting your confidence, your energy, and your libido. I'm going to do another masterclass on libido because we need to talk about that. Okay, and finding your zest for life. So this is my new program. It's 12 weeks. It's coaching and EFT, and it is private. Okay, it's one-to-one. This is not group stuff. Designed to help you go from tired old fat crazy lady to confident, feeling youthful despite your hormones. Okay, and what you'll get out of that program, working with me one-to-one, is relief from brain fog, your old memory back, your improved brain. That's back to wording. As well as physical relief from your other symptoms. Anybody else getting rage? Because the rage is real. And I love rage for many reasons. And we get to loosen it and channel it into something productive. So I am working with a menopause research charity because fucking hell, we need it, right? And that's where I'm going to channel some of my rage, okay? We're going to get some increase and improved libido. And I am happy to talk about this with absolutely anybody because it is my favorite subject. And also, hello, get your old self back. Welcome. I've got to put to the end of the bracket on there. Yes, it is absolutely a bonus. And the libido thing for me is the bonus. It's not something else to do, something else to think about. It is like, oh, now we get to do this. Okay. And it changes lots of stuff. Okay. So what do you get? You get undivided attention. It's just me and you, okay? It's bi-weekly, so every 2 weeks, over 3 months or 6 if we're feeling called to do more, which lots of my clients do. And it is specialist and it is bespoke. And I want to really toot my own horn here that I am the fucking expert here. I might not be a doctor or a nurse, but I have been through all this shit and I know way more than lots of other people offering support. So for me, okay, Catherine, no worries, you can go, darling. I don't really like taking advice from people who haven't done it. So I am thrilled to hear about this nutritionist package, but unfortunately, I don't think you have any fucking idea what it is to actually meal prep when you can't think. Do you know what I mean? I love them, but it's not for me. I need a nutritionist who has been through the menopause and struggled with meal prep in order for it to work for me. Okay, so I really do feel that I know enough here. It is a blend of coaching and therapy and EFT. It's all of it banded together to strengthen you through what can be a really fucking hard time, okay? So that's the program. I'm doing 500 quid off till the end of August, which is 2 weeks. So if you want to get in on it, do it soon. The price is 2,500, 2,500. And then at the end of August, it's going to go up. Beginning of September, it's going to go up to 3 grand. There are payment plans. If you are like, can't do that in one go, but I'm in and I need to figure it out, we can figure it out, okay? So please ask me about that. Don't sit there going, well, I don't know how to. Also, those of you who've been in my world for a while, I did a mini course called Health on Tap. I've updated it. It's new, it's audios and recordings. It's worth 350 quid. And it's specifically aimed at those going through menopausal stuff, right? Has anybody else noticed a real increase in sugar cravings? Hello, it's a drop in estrogen. So the videos will be all focused on dealing with sugar cravings. And I was re-recording it and I was like, bloody hell, I've forgotten how good this shit is because I was there desperately wanting a chocolate bar. And I was like, no, I've remembered how to do this. And then in 5 minutes, don't want it. Okay. This is what happened the last time I did it. So this is worth a shitload of money in itself. Okay. People said, I didn't have anything sweet after dinner. I found a bag of chocolate chips hidden in the kitchen and I don't want them. Half open chocolate and biscuits all over the place. I don't want it. I'm back in my smaller jeans. Okay. So that will be included for those of you who book between now and next week. You will get access to this just as part of it. Okay. So what's next? You can either jump straight in. If I know you, or if we've had some conversation before, I'll just get the payment sent over to you. You can just get in on that straight away. If, however, you want to talk to me first, if you're like, yeah, I'm kind of keen, but I'm not really too sure and I've got some questions, great. Let's book a chat, okay? Free chat, no obligation whatsoever. So you can either just do it or talk to me first. But I totally appreciate it's not for everyone. So if I can leave you with just one thing, I just want to leave you. You're not dead yet. You're not a midlife woman. And this doesn't have to be like this forever. There are ways through this that are not being talked about. It doesn't have to revolve around eating more protein and green vegetables. Okay. The stronger we are emotionally, the more you can cope with anything that's thrown at you. So I think that's almost bang on 45 minutes. I'm so proud of myself. Thank you so very, very, very much for coming today. I really appreciate your time and your energy and remembrance as well. Thank you for that. If you've got any questions about any of it, just bob me a note, let me know what's happening. And I will email you 100,000 times between now and next week anyway, because that is my style. Tell me to bugger off if you need to, but I will speak to you later on, my darling. Oh, thanks, Lisa. Okay, everybody, I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye, 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 bye.